Well, hello world. Oh, sorry it's been so long, but apparently I didn't have enough coffee to wake me up over the past month to do one of these videos. Today's video, all about how to be a voice actor. I'm gonna answer a couple questions that a few of you have asked, like, how did I become a voice actor? Let's start there. I started in 2000. The short version of how I became a voice actor by Eric Vale. I was working in a pizza joint in Denton, Texas, where I went to college. I had just been suspended from college from failing Spanish in 2 consecutive semesters, which apparently you can't do. At about 1 o'clock in the morning, a girl who I went to college with from my theater department walked in and handed me a phone number and said, "Here, call this guy. I'm doing voices on a cartoon. I think you'd be good at it." And I said, "Oh, okay, great." So I called the guy. It was Chris Sabat. He was directing at the time. And he said, "Yeah, sure, come in and audition." I went in, I auditioned for him. He said, "We're not casting for anything right now, but when we do, we'll call you." Great! 3 weeks later, Chris Sabat calls me in a panic and says, "Listen, we're casting for this role, we're having difficulty, can you come audition for it today?" Sure. So I jump into the car, I drive down, I audition. By the time I get back to my apartment that night, I have an answering machine message that tells me that I've booked the role of Trunks on Dragon Ball Z and I need to be at the studio the following day to start recording it. That is how I became a voice actor in anime, okay? Just so that it's out there. Now, I gotta say something. Well, almost every time I do an interview, the first question I get asked is, "How did you get into voice acting?" From now on, I refer you to this video. Look, I love this, but when you're asked the same question over and over again for 13 something years, it gets a little old. So you want to be able to refer to one point of reference, and this will be that. The second question I always get asked is, "Hey, how do I get into voice acting?" Well, I have the answer for everybody. For anyone who's ever come to me and said, "Hey, how do you break into voice acting? How do you get into voice acting?" I want to be a voice actor. Look, I act all the time. Me and my friends, we make cool videos. Listen to all the crazy voices I can do. I can imitate Trunks' voice better than you can. Have you heard me say over 9,000? Anybody who says those things to me and they want to get into voice acting, I have a couple of things to say to you. The first thing you try, magic. Or if that doesn't work, you can always try to worship the spider god. Okay, and if that doesn't work, there are a few other things that you can do. Blood sacrifice. That might get you into some trouble, so you might want to not do the blood sacrifice thing. Yeah, it's messy too. Trust me, I tried it. So really, here's the secret on how you get into voice acting. Be an actor. It's that simple. You just have to be an actor. I started acting when I was 12. I had a kid this past weekend at a convention come up to me and he said, "Hey, how do you break into voice acting?" And I said, "Well, you gotta be an actor. What do you do?" And he goes, "Well, I'm in theater." I go, "Oh, great, you're in theater? How many plays have you been in?" "None." "Okay, so you're in theater, but you haven't been in any plays? Well, what do you do?" "Well, I take, the theater classes." I'm like, "Oh, great, so you're taking acting classes in high school? Perfect. Well, why don't you audition for any of the plays?" This is what he said to me. "Well, I don't really like using my body or my face to act. I just like using my voice." Acting is a passion. Like any passion out there in the world. You have to love it. You have to love everything about it. The highs, the lows, everything that sucks about acting, you have to love that too. And just like anything, there are a lot of things about acting that sucks. I don't like memorizing lines, but I do it. I don't like having to stay in shape, but I attempt it. You have to love acting. You have to love everything about acting. And if you're not going to love everything about acting, then you're not going to be successful. I didn't choose voice acting. Voice acting chose me. I've always wanted to be an actor. Since I was 10 years old and I told my father I never wanted to play sports again, but I wanted to be an actor, that's when I decided this is my path. When I was 12 years old and the theater classes at my school became open to me, I started taking those theater classes. When I was in 9th grade and I started doing plays on a stage, then everything started opening up to me, and I knew I had to train. I had to become a stage-trained actor so that I could learn to use my body, so that I could learn to use my face, so that I could learn to use my voice, so I could learn to use this whole instrument here to become an actor. That's what it takes to be a voice actor. It takes being an actor. So if you're not willing to commit yourself 100%, then you are going to fail as a voice actor. Period. If you want to try, then commit. Commit yourself and you can have the greatest time of your life. Trust me, there is nothing cooler than finding yourself inside a community of actors, inside of a theater, going to work on a stage, smelling that wood of the stage, getting made up in makeup, wearing weird clothes, and playing a character that is nothing like yourself. That's where you learn the love of this. And that is called acting. So at the end of the day, a couple of things we've learned here. A, stop asking me how I got into voice acting. You know how I got into voice acting now. B, if you want to be a voice actor, be an actor. Actors are people who love life. They love everything about life. And they eat it up. They absorb it. They don't just want to focus on one thing. What they want to do is everything. That's why I try to do everything. I write, I act, I produce, I direct. I'm a dad. I garden, I cook. I do as much as I can. I love life. So that's it for today, kids. And tagline. I feel like I've got something else to say. Nope.